What's up, guys? It's Missy. I'm back with another YouTube video, SimCity Build It to be exact, like always. Hit that like and subscribe button. I am doing part 2 to explaining how I designed my city and some design tips for you guys, okay? Now, we left off where I was showing you guys some basics of, facing the buildings a specific direction. Don't place buildings in front of buildings. It'll look really bad because you won't be able to see it. You don't want people to have to turn your screen to be able to view what it is you're trying to show off, okay? You also want to have things blend very well. For example, I try not to bring the water up to the street because the water at the road level looks really tacky and unrealistic, okay? So I also try to take into consideration the way that it gets viewed from a distance. For example, when you guys look at my city this way, you can see that there is water back there and that this island's off. Before I had placed these trees behind this, I had too many trees there to where you couldn't really see the water. You had to go up way too close before you could see it. So that's why I kind of cut right through the center and put the water there. Now, on this side, I'm considering rounding off the water in this corner here. I don't know if I'm going to yet, but I'm seriously considering it. It just, to me, it looks a little tacky the way that it cuts off. I don't know. Also, I have to decide which buildings I'm going to put here because I don't have health, police, and fire coverage, too far to the right. So, another thing, when you guys are trying to put buildings around your water, this is where it gets really, really tricky without looking really, really tacky, all right? For example, you see this right side? This is my favorite part of the way my water is over here. Now, if you look at the way the roads are, see how I had to do the roads in order to get the buildings to sit alongside the water? Now, a lot of people, what they would have done is they would have drawn the road all the way out to the water and then placed the building single file like that. And that would make it look really, really bad, okay? So if you can, try to draw them in a square, right? Now, because of this, if you look here, this is 4 squares, right? Now, because I had to draw it the way that I did, it added this additional area where it added 1 more square, which made it kind of difficult to place other buildings in its place. But I had to do it that way in order to place the second home there while having trees and parks. The reason that I didn't just place several buildings alongside, like here, 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 and there, and I cut it in, is so that I could place trees around it so it would look more realistic, right? So when I turn this way, that looks a lot more realistic. That's actually a harder design to make than you realize. The roads, I would say, are one of the hardest. The hardest part for me, at least, designing is the roads. And the reason being is because the way that your roads are drawn have a huge impact on the way that your city is viewed and the way and placement of your buildings. Now, a lot of buildings are oddly shaped. And in order to place them and get the maximum amount of space, you have to draw the roads to fit accordingly, right? So what ends up happening is I could have just drawn, I didn't have to do a break in the roads and do bridges, right? I could have just drawn roads, but it would have looked really bad when it came to putting in that river. So you're going to have to get breaks in your road. Now, a lot of people have trouble doing that without bulldozing the whole street. You don't need to bulldoze the whole street. For example, see how I have my Omega Road? This has been an Omega Road the whole time. What you're going to do is you're going to draw the road like this. Oh, right there. And then you're going to draw it on the other side. Whatever break you want to do. And then you're going to bulldoze right in the center. That way you don't have to bulldoze the entire street and repay everything again. You're just knocking out that one piece of street that you want to knock out. You might have to move some buildings, but at least you don't have to pay tens and tens of thousands of dollars to repave the street you already had paved. So that's one design tip for you guys. The next design tip is do not put too tall buildings in front of stuff, okay? This is something we discussed in my part 1 video. It looks really, really bad. Second, try to make displays and don't try to bite off more than you can chew, so to speak. So my recommendation to you is from the moment you start playing the game, even if you think, oh, I'm not even going to be anywhere near designing my city anytime soon, that's irrelevant, okay? Anytime that you're shopping on the global market, I want you to take a screenshot of anybody's city that you find to be interesting or pretty or cool or anything, because you will forget those ideas, okay? So once you've done that, I want you guys to start thinking of just a basic generalization of what you want your city to be. You know, you can even sit down with a piece of paper and say, oh, okay, I know I want London homes, or I know I want this type of epic building, or I know I want a lot of water and a lot of trees. You know, get a general idea, okay? And then what my recommendation to you is, and this is something that I do, okay? I don't try to envision the entire thing, okay? I try to envision the basics of what I want to do. So the other day when I decided I was going to knock out that row of buildings and add water, that's all I knew. So I went to this area and I started brainstorming. I'm like, okay, how am I going to run the water over here? What's going to be the easiest route without having to knock out too many roads and cut to too many buildings? Now, I could have brought the water diagonally and had it come down here. I could have brought it down to this one, but I chose to go equal with this side, the right side. That way it looked more, planned, I guess. It just looked better to me to do it that way. So once I knocked out that area, I started moving all those buildings, and then I go, okay, and I start placing the water to get a general idea of what it's going to look like. Don't worry about the roads quite yet. You want just a general idea. I knew I wanted homes along my water. Now, I don't like how the homes don't have trees in front of them. That bothers me. The water is not, the width of the water is not big enough to put trees without it looking terribly. So I would have to move these buildings forward or move those buildings backward in order to widen the river. So what I might end up doing is knocking out this road and putting these homes over to the right side and only having the homes along the back, and then widening that stretch of river and then putting more trees around it. That might be something that I do. We'll see. But for the time being, that's the way it looks at this very moment. Okay? So my design tip to you guys is to take it slow and work one little area at a time. Once you've perfected one small little area, then you can start moving on to another area. Brainstorm. Don't get lazy with it. The biggest issue that I see with people is they want it to just get over with. You know, if you don't enjoy the designing aspect, then I don't recommend doing it at all. Because I see people all the time, they're like, God, I've been at this for 30 minutes. This just sucks. It's like, really, dude, I fucked around with this small little area for 4 hours. It doesn't come easy. If you don't like designing and building, then don't. Because if you don't take pride in it and you don't put some love into it, it's not going to look good when you're done, okay? The reason that I bulldoze 50 epic buildings isn't because I'm an idiot. It's because I take pride in my city and I had no other choice. I tried not to, but I'll replace them with time. It'll happen, and when I'm done, I'll be happier with my city then, right? And the ultimate goal is to make a beautiful city. It's not going to kill me. I'll make it up. Big deal, So if you don't like something, get rid of it. Do what you like. Don't do what comes easy to you. Okay? If you see something, you're like, oh my God, the hell I would have to go through to pick up all that water, but it's going to make your city look that much better. Do it. Don't be lazy. You know what I mean? If you're somebody who has difficulties understanding how to design or having ideas or whatever, just know this. When I had first started making my city, this is not at all what I envisioned. Not at all. This happened over a course of 5 years. I slowly started moving to the right. I didn't have my map fully unlocked when I started. I just slowly progressed, and each and every time the new mayor's pass comes out, we get a new set of buildings, And I have to reevaluate and go, you know what? That building looks really cool. It would look really nice on my capital map. I'm going to go put it over there. And then I got to rearrange everything again. So you're never really done. Okay. I have a lot of work to do on my capital. A lot of people would look at my capital and say, you know what? Your capital is done. What are you talking about? It looks gorgeous. No, it's not done. It's not anywhere near done. Okay. I got a lot of plans. This right here, the Savannah. I thought it looked nice with the way, oh my God, see that? Look at that. That missing tree right there. That's going to bug the hell out of me. I must have picked it up yesterday and not put it back. So, okay, this Savannah here. See how I have this here next to it? That's because it looked nice. It kind of matched. It kind of flowed with it. Now, I could put whatever I want there. Something probably would look better there. I just don't have anything at the moment. So that's where it lives, okay? Notice how I put a break in the trees and I added water. The reason for this was because to me, it looked a little tacky with the water being as wide as it was there. I wanted a little more color. Over here, this is the service zone. I just made those popcorn type trees, the weeping willows, which I think look really nice along the water. Like as you can see, if you zoom in on this cactus map tree, they don't look very good alongside the water. But if you look at the palm trees, see how you can see the ground a little bit around them? That's what I hate. So that's why I usually do the weeping willows, because they kind of popcorn out and cover that area. Same with the yellow, they kind of accent off. I also have the mountain epics. I hate these style ones and these style ones. So I try to blend them in around the ones that I really like. I really like that one. That one's one of my favorites. I try to put the ones that I really like along the edges. And I try to put, like, for example, this is like a little kind of like a creepy swamp or whatever. So I try to put the more dark houses near that. The boat, I tried to put the boat in an area where they were spread apart. So I put the large boat in the large lake area. Now I've thought about putting a boat kind of going up the river, but it didn't really look that great, to be honest with you, so I didn't do it. Now, this over here, I don't have a road over here because it would have made it to where my river wasn't very wide. So I just decided to put trees alongside that. Now, you guys, if you have ideas that you need help with or anything, you can reach out to me on Facebook. I'm more than happy to help you. Honestly, my favorite part of the game is doing designs. You're also going to want to take into consideration eventually when you unlock your regional maps that you might want to put those buildings on your regional maps as well. So try to match them up with your regionals. Now, for me, I have a lot of stuff in storage when it comes to water and stuff. And the reason that I tell you guys to hold on to your keys and your plat keys and all that, your gold keys, is because what happens is people sit down to go design their city and they don't have any stuff. They don't have a way to fund it. So they're unable to buy stuff and see how it looks. That's why I tell you guys to save them until you're ready to do something. Now, another good tip. Let's say that you guys are trying out a specific type of bridge and you want to try out a different type of bridge. Don't purchase that bridge unless you have to. For example, if you have that bridge placed somewhere else, go pick it up, put it in storage, and try it without having to purchase it. A lot of people, what they'll do, like, for example, I have cobblestone everywhere. I don't need to buy another cobblestone to test it out. I can pick it up from a different place and then try it. Surprisingly enough, a lot of people don't do that, okay? Also keep in mind what it's going to look like at night when it lights up. Keep in mind not to double up buildings in one area. For example, if too many Sims nightclubs in one area is going to look really bad. Try to make it to where everything is viewable and just try to make everything blend. Honestly, once you add trees and water, you can get something to blend pretty nicely. If you're not a big fan of the trees or the water, then there's a lot of other ways. Like for some reason, a lot of people, they do designs with the roads themselves. That's an option. Everybody has their own ideas, I guess, right? And I've seen people that buy 100 of those little pink trees and just place them all around their city. Why? I don't know. Maybe they're just showing off how much money they spent. But whatever it is that you want to do it. Now, I have all kinds of ideas that I want to make come to life, so to speak. But they involve a lot of water and a lot of trees and a lot of just stuff I don't have right here at this very moment. Now, you're also going to want to take into consideration if you want to unlock your regional maps. For example, my issue is that I have to hit 10 million pop to unlock my last map. So if I was to go on my regionals and start building them for looks, then I would drop in population so much that I would never be able to unlock my last map. So I recommend that you unlock all the maps if you plan on having a low population in them. Where, you know what I mean? Like if I go and I build a bunch of cool looking cities and I make it to where they only have like 500,000, I'm never going to unlock that last map. So I'm unable to progress in my stuff until I unlock that last map. That's partially why I didn't do what I wanted to do with my capital, was because I wanted to wait until I unlocked that last regional, but I got impatient and I did it anyway. So I lost a lot of pop. I lost like, I think 1 million pop when I did that. Which normally pop is not an issue or concern of mine. It serves no real purpose in the game other than, woohoo, you have a lot of people. I mean, once you hit like a certain amount, you unlock everything in the game. So other than the level unlocks, it doesn't really serve much of purpose. The taxes are pretty petty. So that being said, hopefully I've helped you guys. If you have any questions on doing your designing or whatever, reach out to me. I can't think of anything at this current moment to give you guys some better tips or whatnot. Just try to make them blend, try to do displays, try to do one thing at a time, and try to make it to where you can see everything, you know? People have a tendency to put a lot of tall buildings, and they have a tendency to put buildings all different directions, and I think it looks just god-awful. You know, like they have their stores facing the wrong direction, and then they have their other store facing this direction, and then they got a big skyscraper house in it, and it's just a joke. Oh, somebody asked me, how do you get skyscrapers? I'm going to put that in this video and the tips and tricks video. When you click on your house, and you click this button here, it says land value, high and low. Then you click this and it says wealth forecast. Luxurious homes, premium homes, standard homes. If you're upgrading a regular residential within a luxurious home zone, then it will transform to a skyscraper or a more luxurious home. Now, what makes this go up is having specializations in that zone. So if the more parks, the more stuff that you have in that area, the higher the value of the land goes up. In turn, the better the building that you will get. Okay? So, hopefully I've answered your questions. With that being said, I am going to end this video. If you have not already, like I said, hit that like and subscribe button.